If you wouldn't pick a known bully in your community to coach your kids' ball team, why would you elect one president? If you wouldn't welcome as your prospective new son-in-law a man who clearly and obviously and historically lashes out even and especially at women, at even the slightest hint of a slight, who's a serial adulterer, blah, 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 but all that stuff. But I'm talking about just the bullying and the degrading and the denigrating of women. If you wouldn't welcome him as your new prospective son-in-law, why would you elect one president? If you wouldn't let this guy stay alone in a room with your own daughter, because he says to his own daughter, or about his own daughter, if she wasn't my daughter, I'd probably be dating her, let alone a female minor, because he calls women pigs and whores, and once boasted that he, on national radio, that he could have nailed Princess Di if he'd wanted. It turns out that he wanted and she didn't. She apparently wrote him some letters, and he wrote her some letters, and she said, this guy's a stalker. Who's this dude? If you wouldn't do that, why would you elect a man like that president? If you would not invite a mean, bitter, petty, childish, vindictive, clearly staggeringly insecure man, come on. If we can't agree on anything else, take all the political philosophy in a bucket and stuff your sorrows in a sack, mister. The guy is screaming insecurity. A first-year psych student can see that. If you wouldn't invite him wholeheartedly and warmly into your social circle or your work or your home, why would you elect him president? At some point, kind of staggered into being the theme tonight, at some point, it has to stop being about this guy being your choice because he's not Hillary. Because at some point, when all the signs point to this guy being the kind of guy you would never, ever think to invite into your social circle or your home or your workplace or your kid's school or, God forbid, your family, it becomes about you. And the failure to admit this guy simply isn't right. And if you don't react and respond accordingly, something terrible could honestly happen to your daughter or your other kids or your family or your friends or your country. Somebody wrote this line in an essay somewhere along the way this week, and it's not terribly complicated, but immensely profound, and it made me go bing when I read it. If you don't stand up and say something's wrong when it's wrong, that's the same thing as saying that it's right. If your instincts told you for a single second that your daughter might be mistreated by a potential son-in-law, if you thought for a single second that your kids might be belittled or humiliated or even abused by a potential teacher or coach, if your instincts told you for a second that your family might be at risk or even harm or even danger because this guy wants to move into the extra room above your garage, but there's just something totally hinky about the guy in plain sight, if you thought for a nanosecond that something just wasn't right about this guy, you would move heaven and earth to make sure this guy had as absolutely little contact with you and your family and your life as possible. So why would you want to elect this man president of the United States? At some point, supporting this man is endorsing this man, and endorsing this man is endorsing all the things this man clearly is, and all the things he might potentially do to your friends, and to your kids, and to your family, to you and your life. And the standard go-to answer, God help us all, I just can't stand or vote for Hillary. Well, you know what? I've reached a place in my own thing, and this is my opinion on this here Sunday night. God forbid, believe me now or believe me later, or I should say, believe me now or God forbid, believe me later. You don't have that luxury anymore. This man has proven and proven and proven and proven and proven. And given the choice between, all right, and I'll even give you this. Let's just say Hillary's a liar. She's untrustworthy. She's all the things that she is. Given the choice between a lying, untrustworthy ballbuster who doesn't take crap from anybody and a scared, weak man who hides that fright and weakness in the form of bullying and bigotry, who is all talk and bluster and no cool, no smarts, no savvy whatsoever, at some point, even the village idiot begins to understand that when it comes down to a choice between being hit in the head by a rock or having your head cut off, you suck it up and you brace yourself for the rock. Ladies and gentlemen, the rock is named Hillary. The automatic excuse doesn't work anymore. Okay? The knee-jerk response, the automatic answer to attacks on Trump has been and continues to be, Hillary's a liar. Hillary's untrustworthy. Hillary's just another politician. And you know what? All of that to one extent or another, is absolutely true. Fooled you, huh? But in that part of your brain where reason and logic flourish, and passion and frustration and the intoxication of thinking that the cavalry is coming, you know that Donald is a liar and Donald's untrustworthy. And if you think for a second that Donald isn't just another politician, well, guess what? You're right. He's not. He is not even close to just another politician. This dude is a once-in-a-lifetime, super-duper, five-star, world-class politician. Because a politician, gang, is not merely somebody who just runs for office and wins it and then never lets it go, like death gripping on forever. A politician is somebody/anybody who's trained and educated and or skilled in the art of, say it with me, politics. And politics, I looked up the definition, quote, the activities associated with the governance of a country or other area, especially the debate or conflict among individuals or parties having or hoping to achieve power. Other area. Hoping to achieve power. Let me ask you something. What is it exactly you think that Donald Trump does all day? Well, now he's running for president, but before that, what do you think he did all day? And has done with every breathing moment since he was just a kid whose daddy gave him $1 million to get started in business. Dana Carvey's coming on, I can hear it. Could it be achieving power? Gathering property? So let's be honest with ourselves. If we can't agree on any other thing in this thing, let's agree on this. They're both politicians. They're just not necessarily both office holders. And now they're both office seekers. The only thing that distinguishes Donald from every other politician in the world is that he's never held office, but I just explained that. They're both politicians, and that makes them, both of them, by every and any indicator that all of us, no matter who we're with or who we're against, every indicator we use to judge those things, they're both liars, and they're both untrustworthy. But here's the part that keeps gumming up the wheels of this bus that we're all on board, and we're trying to steer it away from the precipice, as it were. It's the conflict between the things we think we know and the things we know. For example, we think we know that Hillary let those people die in Benghazi. Were you there? I wasn't there. Unless we were there in person, we don't know. And I'm sorry, I don't cut any slack on well, I know a guy who knows somebody who heard about. That's malarkey. We think we know that Hillary deleted thousands of emails because they were incriminating. Have you read them? I haven't read them. Unless we read them personally, we don't know. And again, don't come at me or anybody else. It's insulting to the intelligence. Well, I know a guy who read the thing and heard the red and thing about I'm going to take that kind of evidence and I'm going to have you prosecuted for a crime and I'm going to have you found guilty and you're going to be screaming bloody murder that your rights have been violated because all that's circumstantial and blah, blah, blah. Now, it's not just a one-way thing. We think we know that Donald scammed all those people at Trump University. All right? In fairness, unless we were one of those people or are directly related to, for example, if your daughter or your son or, unless, then we don't know. We just think. Opinions can be so useless. We think we know Donald doesn't pay the people he hires to build his hotels and his golf courses. And we've all seen the films, the videos. Well, I built the golf course, he didn't pay. Well, unless we're one of those people he has stiffed, we don't know. We just think. Here's what we do know. From his own words, we've all seen it. Doesn't matter whether you're for him or against it. Heard with our own ears and seen with our own eyes. Even Fox News runs the videos. You saw the debate. You've seen his speeches. You hear what he has to say. He's a bigot. He's a sexist. He's a narcissist. And at the very least, he's a bully. The tweets, 3 o'clock in the morning. She's fat. Rosie O'Donnell's a pig. And an adulterer. But I live in a glass house. I don't cast those stones. But you know what? In fairness, as Donald points out, so is Bill Clinton. So you know what? Bill Clinton isn't running for anything. If Hillary's unfit because Bill screwed around, then Donald's unfit because he screwed around. And by the way, this show is 52 minutes old, and I know how you're feeling in one respect because I'm getting there. I've been there too. I'm with you, brothers and sisters, in one form. Not so far, I haven't mentioned anything in terms of an issue. Care for our kids, benefits for our veterans, getting homeless people off the streets, health care for people in this country. No, it's all become about this WWE slapdown grudge match. Well, both examples of this Hillary and Donald thing and the infidelity and all this crap that's going to get churned up now, both examples and all of that supposed logic involved is ridiculous. And it's insulting to everybody's intelligence, all of us. But most especially, it's an insult to the intelligence of those who still actually believe this guy is the answer. At some point, sincerely honest people, honest with themselves and honest with others, will speak the honest truth. They are supporting Trump and continue to because they hate Hillary Clinton, no other reason. And that's their prerogative. But at some point, the rest of us have to step up and say, you know what? Stop insulting our intelligence by trying to make yourself sound like a patriot, because it's demeaning to patriots. I remarked a few weeks ago, in fact months ago now, I said with Donald's temperament, his wonderful temperament, his thin skin, the way he reacts, and we all know it's true. I'm not making that up. I said he would say something insulting after being elected, say to Kim Jong-un, and Un would push the button and blow us all up, because that boy crazy over there. Well, based on what's happened in the last couple of days, I realized there's a reverse danger. That's right. And the reverse danger would be that Donald gets in office and Kim Jong-un has had his people keeping an eye on Trump, and they realize what a thin skin this guy has. And they decide, let's provoke him. So Kim Jong-un decides to call Melania Trump up. And Trump tries to contain himself. He tries to control himself. He tries to go to the National Security Advisor and the Chief of Staff and listen to them say, be cool, be cool, be cool. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, the BlackBerry or the smartphone or whatever he's got comes out and the tweets come out, and or he pushes a button. When the choice is between getting hit in the head with a rock or having your head cut off, you suck it up, you brace yourself, and you take the rock in the head. The rock in the head is Hillary Clinton.